Good evening, all viewers. Welcome to VOICEIT Talk Show. I just want to read first our logistics. We need to do a disclosure first. We don't take responsibility for offensive languages or videos with this live streaming. COVID-19. Our candle on the screen is for all the people that have lost their loved ones with the COVID-19 epidemic. And we keep on praying for full recovery and keep the distance. The purpose of VOICEIT Talk Show, our talk show is broadcast in English and in Afrikaans. The show is for any person, organization to voice their opinion in the Free State and around the world. The platform is to share information and knowledge. The viewers can also interact and ask relevant questions. Our topic tonight is the way forward. We have a counselor that have won her award. She's from Hyderabad, so we're going to discuss her way forward, and we would like to congratulate her and all the parties that took part in it. If you didn't make it, but there's still a lot of viewers, don't give up on this. All of us in South Africa are after service delivery. But before we're going to start, I just got a short bio that I want to read to you from Logan Creer. Logan, Councillor Candidate Ward 16, Mangaung, Caprice Logan Creer. She's a female and she's 40 years old and she's the Ward Councillor of Ward 16. A profile member of SASCO 2005, Chairperson ANC Youth League Ward 16 2008 up to 2010, BEC member ANC Women's League for Ward 16, 2009 up to 2011. Secretary, Ward Councillor also for Ward 16, 2010 up to 2012. Member of the District Executive Council of the Youth League 2011 up to 2013. Deputy Chair, ANC Ward 2010 up to 2012. Education. BTech Honours Degree in Human Resource Management obtained at the Central University of Technology, Bloemfontein, Free State in 2005. She's computer literate, good administration skills, planning and coordination skills, good communication skills, ability to organize events, conflict management and resolution skills. So what we can see here on her bio, she's all the time was she busy in Ward 16. But we're just going to have a short slideshow of who Logan is, and then we will continue. There we have Logan, some videos of her, but we're still going to give you a deeper background with the video that we're going to play, and then we're going to introduce our guest tonight, and then we're going to ask her some questions.
My name is Logan. I emanate from the dusty streets of Heidedal, which is a predominant colored area within Bloemfontein. And I am the second born of my parents. They were only blessed with 3 daughters. So when I completed my matric, I became a student at CUT. I completed my honors degree in human resources management. And by then, what I wanted to achieve back then was my first business was a training and development company, because I specialized in human resource in training and development. My name is Logan Kruger. I am the founder and the CEO of the Logan K Foundation. And Logan K Foundation was born to assist within the community. That was the main reason, to do it in a structured entity and to also access different resources from that entity. Now, the Logan K Foundation, yes, there were many challenges. Firstly, I didn't have volunteers. I didn't have volunteers and I didn't have sponsorship of any kind. But what I've also realized was that my marketing was not on par. So we've worked on the marketing and we've done different projects and to speak to different needs within the community. And what I've realized is that people wanted to join hands. People saw the results of what we were doing. And then people came together and said, Logan, let's become your volunteers. And other people just came and said, Logan, let's assist you with sponsorship. Or Logan, please come and apply to our company also. And then everything just became more easier as it is now. Because now I can literally say people are advising me. Others are just giving me advice from the background to say, do it in this fashion, do it in this manner. So there's volunteers now, there's funding now. It's not what I would want it to be, but at least there is something as opposed to previously.
We are back and we'd like to welcome Logan Creer here. She's the Councillor of Ward 16. Logan, you are more than welcome.
I thank you, and I thank you for the opportunity as well.
So before we're going to get to a political career, we saw that she was quite active in the community. I just want to put a photo on to prove to you people how all this time she was feeding the poor in a community and help people with funerals. And she has been even deep in COVID. She sacrificed and took the risk in still feeding the poor. So Logan, if I can start with you, where did you get this initiative to start assisting your community, and what was driving you?
Well, to be honest, I've done this for more than 20 years. The only challenge is there was no Facebook 20 years ago. So what you see now is a drop in the ocean of what I've done. And for me, this has been a lifestyle. I spoke to one of my friends, congratulated me this morning, and she says, Logan, but even when we were at school, you were always doing things for people that was in need. So by then, it was not a project as such. For me, back then, it was just an extension of my character to assist. And I think that's the type of family where I emanate from. It's only later when people said, but Logan, why don't you register? And then we've registered in 2005, and Facebook, we were not so active on Facebook back then. So what you see now is truly what I've been doing for over 20 years. So it's not something new. It's just that people get now a glimpse into me because of Facebook.
That's actually excellent. So that is a passion of you.
Yes.
Giving back to your community. Did you sometimes do it out of your pocket? Did you get a lot of sponsors, or how did you go about?
Look, before it was formalized as a business entity, as a non-profit company. There was no sponsors per se, because what I've done was my sister back then was my 2 sisters were my main sponsors. So whether it was school shoes or groceries, my 2 sisters were my funders. But back then I didn't do it on a big scale. It was only when people told me about Logan, why don't you register and then do it on a bigger scale? And that's what I've done. But what I've also done is I didn't just want to be a Father Christmas that solved problems. I wanted to prove to Heidedal that you don't need lots of money to make a difference. And I wanted my community to be involved. So 80% of my sponsorship, believe it or not, comes from ordinary people within the Heidedal community and even outside of Heidedal. Because of Facebook, people send money now even from Dubai. They were previously living in Bloemfontein. So what I'm trying to say is that I firmly believe that a community is in a position to solve their own problems. Whatever government or other people give is just the cherry on top. But I want a community whereby we solve each other's challenges.
I used to notice always, almost every week you had funerals and you'll advertise or ask for donations for potatoes and like that on Facebook. Was the people quite supportive with you on this?
You won't believe, I tend to advertise on Heidedal Enough is Enough, and it has a membership of I think it totals 9,600. And I don't think people will believe when I say, after doing it on Enough is Enough, I would get like 3 responses. And hence I'm saying, whenever there's a shortfall from sponsorship from the community, my family will just, or myself, my business, will just come in and fill the gap. So yes, there is a good response now and then, but it is not at the level of where I thought it should have been by now, because I firmly believe that the Heidedal community knows me and they see what I've done. But strangely enough, a lot of my money comes from people I don't even know. People that just see Logan on Facebook, and people that just takes the chance in investing or donating in me. And yeah, that's the reality, but it never, I never take it personal because I firmly believe there's reasons. But I think as a leader of a company, you cannot be disgruntled when people don't support you at that particular point in time. You must make an effort to solve the problem. But at the end of the day, I do the funeral by fire, by force.
Did you ever discover a lot of times at your funerals that there is really no money to bury the person? Or
Yes, definitely. Look, before I do any funeral, I do a thorough assessment. I am not overexcited. I think when people start out with community work, you just want to solve every problem and run everywhere. No, I do it smartly because I said with 20 years experience. So when people contact me for a funeral, I go there and I do a thorough assessment and I ask questions because I want to understand why is it that people are trapped in poverty. So I use the funeral as a foot into the door because I want to assess the whole economic condition of the household. So I do not just solve a funeral, I solve the problems of the family. Many a times, let me make an example. I had a funeral whereby the grandmother passed on and she left 6 children as orphans. So I had to come in with social development. I had to report because these children had to be placed in foster care. And the ones that were over 18, we had to fight that family don't take the house because this is the reality in Heidedal. Or I think everywhere else, but let me speak about Heidedal where I serve, is that when people die and stuff happen, you normally get those smart family members who just comes in and see how they can steal the inheritance or the house. So there's so many things. So hence I'm saying the funeral is my foot into the door. But I check for all the challenges and then I report to the different social workers for them to step in and then I monitor and evaluate their intervention.
how does the people contact you? Do they contact you when they have a funeral to assist, or do you automatically go there by their houses, or how do you operate actually?
I think by now, Heidedal is fairly familiar with Logan. So when there's a funeral, 80% of people in that street or the neighbors will call because they know what Logan does. But I equally have a beautiful relationship with Twilight Funeral Services because Twilight is an Angel's Funeral Parlor is the only 2 accredited by municipality to do what we call a free funeral. Not necessarily free because government or municipality will pay for the coffin and for the grave. So what happens is when people don't contact me, when they go to Twilight and they explain the situation, I have a contact person there, Chris, he will call me to say, Logan, there is this family, can you also assist? So it's a 2-way thing. But 80% they get hold of me via Facebook or via inbox.
What's really touching to me, what I've heard about you, is that even after the funeral, you really see still the need of help to people, like that the houses mustn't be taken away, like the children get into a foster house and that's actually quite a good extension that you're giving your people.
No, most definitely. I become a one-stop shop. You must understand, if Logan can boldly say she has been in the game for 20 years, then equally my service should speak volume. I cannot react like a normal NGO who just started out. So now I understand, and hence I'm saying I liaise with different stakeholders, because before this, I used to be a counselor as well, counseling in terms of if people were a rape victim and all those things. Now I don't do it anymore because I have people that are trained to do it. I just refer now, and then I monitor and I evaluate.
So you are really, according to me, social community worker born, like the
Yes.
Mother Teresa that they used to say, looking after the people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
That's quite a good background that we see of this woman, and at a very young age, where a lot of people, she says it's about 20 years already.
Yes.
So if you multiply 20 years by her age now, she started with it at the age of 20.
Yes.
And how many young people will go into this route and really taking after their community and assisting their community? I think this is quite excellent that you are doing, Logan. We are moving a little bit forward, and it didn't end there only with the funerals. She even opened a creche again, a creche that was long closed. Why did you decide to open a creche again for the little kids?
You see, what Heidelberg doesn't know is that I've been in we call it a creche, but the technical term is an ECD, Early Childhood Development Center. So I have been in the ECD space for more than 9 years, but I never had a center. There was never a premises available. So I've done the research, I've built my network around ECD centers, because I'm a qualified human resource management, and I specialize in training and development. So I understand the importance of foundation education, of grooming little kids. So this has always been a passion. Unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to get a facility, but I've attended ECD center workshops for the past 9 years. It was just when the opportunity arose, and I think I must also do a rectification, because people, people have just stories about Logan that, because I'm politically connected, that's why I got hold of the creche and no one else, and which is not true, because I was not even aware of the fact that the facility was available. I was made aware because someone came to me and said, Logan, Teacher Thelma is going to take over Auntie Ivy's creche, and please can't we fundraise to assist her in refurbishing the place? I said to her, no, it's fine, but I want Teacher Thelma to confirm it to me first before I advertise on Facebook to call on for support from the community. And the next day she called me to say, no, Logan, Teacher Thelma is no longer going to take the place. And I made a phone call to Teacher Thelma to ask her, is it true what they say? She says, no, Logan, I wanted to, but we have decided against it. And based on that information, that's how I knew, coincidentally, that's how I knew the place was available. And that's when I put in a formal request to apply for the facility, which is municipality facility, and that's how the process started. So I've been in the ECD space for many years. I've been doing so many things and doing research on so many things. It's just that this year was the time for me to get the facility. They always say God's timing is a perfect timing, but hence I always say opportunity favors the prepared.
The facility, where is it stationed in Heidelberg?
It's in Parish and Lekay, and it is a previous facility that the late Mayor Ivy used to use, and I think Mayor Ivy was there for over 20 years.
Okay, people, you hear where it is. If you feel there's a need for your child to be looked well after with the educational background Logan is having, please support that side. We are moving a little bit further. We are coming to some politics, but we first gonna just play a video of Logan and then we discuss politics. There you have seen Logan as a ward council of the ANC. My first question to you is, Logan, the members in the ANC have messed the name of the ANC so badly up with corruption and service delivery. And you still stand for the ANC. What make you stand for the ANC?
You must remember, people join the ANC for different reasons, and the ANC is us, and us, we are the ANC. Now, we join organizations for different reasons. I can equally ask you, why are you a Manchester fan and not maybe a Liverpool fan? And we would get different responses from the same group of people. So when you ask me about the ANC, I joined the ANC simply for the ideology. A lot of people are not familiar with the ideology of the ANC in terms of what is leadership, what we must do for the communities, and those, it's like the constitution of the ANC. That is what I fell in love with, because as a community worker, I saw the ANC as another level of community work, because a politician is a community worker. A politician speaks on behalf of the destitute. A politician should fight on behalf of people. So politics is an extension of community work. But I think the challenge comes in is because the ANC is in government and there's money. Because there's money, there's salaries, there's tenders, there's everything. But you must understand the ANC is a mass democratic movement, which means if you join the ANC and you pay your membership, you are part. If I can make an example, one of our big churches in Heidedal, in Bloemfontein, as an example, is CRC. And we can't hold Pastor Art accountable for every mistake that a member does, because everyone joins his church. It's an open organization. People can join the church, but Pastor Art is not familiar with everyone's motive in his church. We assume that everyone is there for the love of God, but it is not always the case. The same as in a political party. People join the ANC for different reasons, because we are built up from different characters and with different hidden motives. I joined the ANC specifically because I saw this is a platform where I can elevate the plight of my community. And like I said, people messed up the name of the ANC. Now you ask yourself, if there's a mess up in church, let's make an example. Let's say in any church, you heard the deacon stole the money of the church, or he has a relationship with young ladies in the church. You decide, am I going to speak up and hold the deacon accountable, or am I just going to jump ship and go to the next church? Because the moment you jump ship, you will realize another church has different challenges, but there's challenges everywhere. So are you going to jump forever? It's your decision. And I think my decision was, no. Some of us must remain and clean the ANC from inside. And also, we must produce different caliber type of leaders. And that's why it was important for me to work on my biography, to work to ensure that even when the ANC elevate me to a position, I must be a different kind of political leader. So hence I invested in my businesses, I invested in my education, I invest constantly in my personal development, so that we can proudly say now when the ANC is cleaning the ocean, we are bringing forward a different type of caliber. And why am I still with the ANC? Because I firmly believe the ANC is the only political party which can address the socio-economic conditions of everyone. I mean, let me make an example. The ANC, it forces us to have a 50% female representation in everywhere of the ANC, whether it's HOD, Parliament, or everywhere where we deploy people. So the ANC firmly believes in women empowerment. I remember when Helen Zille was the Premier of Cape Town back then, Helen Zille had an all-male cabinet, and that for us was painful. Like, Helen Zille, if you are a female, it is your duty to open doors for other females, because women, you must understand, in apartheid, women were also double, if you can call it double, stepped upon because of apartheid. Because during apartheid, a woman could not own a house. And even if a male and a female occupied the very same position with the same qualifications, women were paid less by the apartheid government. So when we talk about women empowerment, it is not a publicity stunt, it is redressing the injustices of the past. So now we believe in uplifting women simply because of what they suffered during apartheid.
It was so impressive for VOICEIT to see that the president has started cleaning up the ANC. A lot of big names have been suspended in the ANC. But the question to you is, when will these people be prosecuted? When will we see a successful prosecution and this person is going to jail? Or is the ANC just not playing a flip-flop game with the community? What is your response on that?
You must understand, in a democratic dispensation, the judiciary of that country is independent from parliament and independent from the state. So any democracy is built on three pillars. It is the judiciary on one side, it's parliament on one side, and it's the state. The president is in charge of government. The president is not a member of parliament. The president accounts to parliament. That's why the president can, a vote of no confidence can be raised in parliament, and the president can lose his job if the vote of confidence is successful. The judiciary is independent from the president. So, because the president is also accountable to the judiciary. And many times people don't understand it. Imagine if we had control over the judiciary. I mean, we would win every court case in South Africa because we're in charge of it. So if you ask us, okay, if so-and-so is implicated, when will the ANC finally deal with the person? You must understand the constitution of the ANC is subjected to the constitution of the country. Our constitution cannot supersede the constitution of South Africa. Every constitution must be subjected to the constitution of South Africa. And the constitution says you are guilty, you are not guilty until proven guilty. But many times politicians have used this to their benefit, saying that even if they are implicated, they are still being the premier. So the ANC said, okay, fine, we can't go against their democratic right as a human being in South Africa. But what we now say is it's fine if your case is still sub judice, meaning your case is still running. The ANC says, then you must step aside, especially when the case involves corruption. So the ANC says, okay, step aside, vacate your position, you can't speak on behalf of the organization anymore until your name is cleared. So that in itself was a big thing that we have reached in the ANC. And you must remember, it is not something the president said. This was a resolution at Nasrec that the ANC members, the delegates said, if the ANC moving forward, this is what we want to see, because we wanted to emphasize the level of accountability.
Cleaning the ANC, that it will help the ANC a lot in future if people really see people get prosecuted and they go to jail or whatever the case may be. Even if the Guptas have to come back, and our favorite pastor Bushiri, because he's now preaching in China, he doesn't worry about will he ever be delivered to South Africa.
Honestly speaking, I am not a spokesperson of the Department of Justice. Let me not overstay. But what I can say is we have a beautiful judiciary system in South Africa. Justice delayed is never justice denied. So you must understand that we must have our ducks in a row as the judiciary when prosecution comes. So definitely whoever is guilty of anything in South Africa will be brought to book. Some people think simply because they don't see a development, they simply assume that that person is scot-free. It's never the case.
We used to watch the people on social media. When the DA was in control in your ward, if we can just sit now on your ward, focus there, then sometimes the DA leader's hands was cut off because he doesn't have money. The majority, the ruling parties, the ANC, was it that they didn't want to give him money to do service delivery, or was it just that this is a DA ward by then?
You must remember, when we go to government, as much as the DA might be in control, it remains the government. And yes, the thing you're discussing now, it's also a rumor that has been spread simply, and people just assume that, okay, he's not part of the ANC, so the ANC now purposely paralyzed him. Now, let us clarify that situation. We have an IDP, and IDP is where we as councillors go and we fight for what must be on the budget of Mangaung for Ward 16. And the challenge with Ward 16 is, unfortunately, the DA is always against the budget for Ward 16. They have a different way of doing things. So the previous councillor Ati and the DA per se would vote against the budget. But one thing we must also understand, a ward councillor cannot just be also a receiver of a budget. You must also be creative and proactive in terms of sourcing funding for different projects. And that is why it's imperative that you must have an appeal to the private sector, whereby even if government gives you X amount, you must still be able to fundraise with your name money from the outside for projects. So you must be a visionary. Unfortunately, people see a ward councillor as an implementer of whatever was decided, which it can never be. A ward councillor is actually your premier of the ward. It's like you are the leader of that ward, and it's like a mother in a child relationship. You do not just do for your child what your budget allows. A mother would be creative in extending herself, even if you have to ask or do an extra job to get more money to do more for your child. You cannot just subject your child to what you earn. You become creative as a mother, even if you sell cook sisters or you do hair weekends to generate extra income. And that is exactly what I intend to do, is to say that, listen, Logan, you cannot just distribute the portion you got from municipality and then you think you're an excellent councillor. No, Logan, you must step into the private sector, foreign investment. You must go abroad, and that's the visionary mindset that we must bring to South Africa, and to say that this is what government gave me, but this is what I have raised on my own as a ward councillor, simply because I have a good capital project and investors believe in my project because the due diligence was done and they believe in it.
VOICEIT was monitoring the situation also with the councillors. Most of the things that the councillors was doing that we were familiar with on Facebook is like remove rubbish, open a blocked drain, a light is not working, the light have been put on. But we want to see more creative things happen. There's a new clinic established by this councillor. There is, guys, since this councillor started, they got a full-time job. Crime is down because the councillor have done that thing. We want really to see a councillor enriching her ward, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Not just what's happening. Are you a capable person of doing that? Or?
No, definitely. Look, I have my business experience. I come from construction. I have a construction company as well. Now, you must understand, it is not necessarily the primary function of a councillor to create job opportunities. So let's not overplay the role of a councillor. But what the councillor can do is, the policy of the government, of the ANC-led government, says any capital project that is funded by government within the boundaries of that ward. Let's make an example. We had Joe Solomon project, a huge capital project. Now, what the policy says, it says 30% of the value of the project must be ring-fenced for the immediate community. Now, let me make an example. Let's say, for argument's sake, if Joe Solomon was a 10 million project, then 3 million worth of the jobs should be distributed to the subcontractors from the ward where the project is. So let's say, with Joe Solomon, 30% of the capital value, their jobs should have been ring-fenced for the community members or the subcontractors from Ward 16. Now, the sad part is that people will say, yes, but the DA councillor provided some jobs. No, we don't want some jobs. We want figures. Can we talk mathematics and accountings? You must tell us, listen, we have given so many subcontracts to so many subcontractors, and it accumulated to an X amount. So accountability should go back to the ward councillor. Now, if you talk about job creation, yes, we might not be in an economic space to create jobs per se, but what we can do is, remember, a ward councillor becomes the shepherd of Ward 16. You must have beautiful relationships with the people, let's say with the mall, with Twin City Mall. You go to them and say, listen, let's have a discussion. The job opportunities of this mall. You take ownership. Twin City must report. You must hold them accountable to say, you have 20 stores, or you speak to the owners of the different stores to ask, can't you just at least employ one? You must also be careful of the narrative of Twin City. Twin City is in Heidedal. That's why only Heidedal people must work for it. Then we push a narrative which says we become tribalist, which it cannot be, because what will we say now if Hyperama is in Vleerdal? So does it mean only white people must work there, or only the people that stays close to Hyperama must work at Hyperama? So populist politicians will come with narratives of, yeah, only Heidedal must work there. which we cannot push, but we can push to say, if you employ 20 people, can 30% be at least from Ward 16, but also be aware, Ward 16 no longer is a predominant colored area also. So you can't say that if people say that which are not from your so-called colored race, they cannot be employed. So it's a fine line. And you must remember, one thing that is important is that we don't want to speak about race. We talk about demographics. So, yeah, that's a fine line. But I think the most important thing for the ward councillor is build relationships with different stakeholders so that even if you have a finest a butchery within Heidedal, if they need people to work at finest, you want a relationship where they come via the ward councillor, who in turn has a database. So there must be systems in place from the ward councillor, because we don't want a situation whereby finance comes to the ward councillor to ask for recommendations on employment, and then Logan gives the family members of the Krugers and the Johnson family. So I'm trying to say that there must be a formalized systems in place to say we have a database, and if you're number 20, you will be the 20th person to get employment. I'm just making an example, but based on an analysis to see who is the poorest of the poor. We cannot simply say all of us are equal. You get some people that they might not be as skilled, but in the family there's no income. Then that person must be prioritized so that the income can transform the living conditions of the immediate family.
You sound so excited, and you really exciting me to see your planning ahead in the next 5 years, what you want to do, and we are really looking forward to that one. If we look quickly at our results, that we can come back to our results. I just want to read some results for you. At Olympia School, the ANC voted 190, the DA 290, and the PA 216. That was quite close. At Dr. Block School, the ANC 280, the PA 225, and the DA 211. At Credence, the ANC got a vote of 458, the PA 303, and the DA 129. If we look at Joe Solomon, the ANC got votes of 213, the PA 179, and the DA 129. At Norman de Bell, the ANC 202, the PA 114, the DA, we don't have that figures, and in Heide, the ANC 142, and the PA 257. We just got a total year votes in total. The ANC 1,485, and the PA 1,368. The difference was 117. So this for me was very, 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 very close for the PA. Congratulations, PA. You were very, 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 very close to that. Don't give up. Keep Logan on her toes, because she knows you are coming. My question to you is, like all of them knows him as Ati, he was doing so well for the past 10 years. And why didn't the people elect him again this time? Or was it because of the PA that came in? Or or was it because you came in? Or what will you comment on that one?
Look, Mr. Presenter, you said he was doing good. Now, if he was doing good, I firmly believe, your works must speak for itself. If Councillor Ati was doing what he was supposed to do, I firmly believe you don't even have to canvass. So people can see your results and automatically vote for you. People that should canvass should be the new kids on the block, because people don't know them. But you who have been in power for 10 years, you see the challenge is, Mandela says absolute power corrupts. Now, I'm not saying Ati was corrupt. Don't understand it in that context. I'm saying many times you fall into a comfort zone whereby, no, I know, because the DA, they only rely on national politics. Oh, they said this about colored people. Oh, they did this. Oh, they are so corrupt, because all their posters is about corruption and it's about 1, 2, 3. And they've survived with that narrative, and they've imprinted in the so-called colored communities that there is no space for you at the table of the ANC. And that's also what even the PA was running with. Now, I'm asking, if you had 10 years to deliver Ati, what did you do wrong? Now, I can say from my side, and this is what I want to encourage people to do, is to say that even if you are a politician, you must bring on your own brand. You see, your name must stand out, not simply because you are under the umbrella of a political party. Logan should be a brand on her own. So people, I think what assisted us was the fact that my community trusted me. Not because I was better, because of my reputation. And reputation you don't get after 3 days. In China, they say, you don't plant a tree today and then you eat the fruits tomorrow. Many times, as populist politicians, we are so impatient. You invest in the community today, you want to see results tomorrow. It's never the case. Can I just add by saying, for 10 years, Comrade Calvin lost against Ati. But you know what is beautiful about Comrade Calvin? After losing to Comrade Ati, because he hated our votes DA, and tomorrow when there's a challenge, they call ANC. Calvin has never rejected people to say, no, I would never do this. Why didn't you vote for me? After losing, after crying, Calvin must swallow his pride and still assist because community work was an extension of his character. We would never forget when the PA lost the first time. The words of the president was to say, I would never do anything for Edadal again because I've done this and there was no return on investment. Now, return on investment is never instant. It's the same as with a good investment. During COVID, a lot of investments went down and people panicked and they withdrew their investments. But the ones who kept on, the market reversed itself and it even almost doubled some of the investment. So my word of advice is, it's the same as politics. You invest, you invest, you invest. You must have patience. But most importantly, consistency is the new currency. What you do consistently, people will believe, even if they don't like Logan. But one thing they can't deny is my reputation.
So when you started this community project of yours 20 years ago, was your plan to end up with the councillor or was it just happening? Because I see you were very passionate on what you were doing. You didn't bother where you're going to end up, but this is what I want to do for my community. Because I could get a feeling some people were mentioning something like that also.
Yeah, and you must understand the opposition parties really didn't have dirt on Logan per se because unfortunately my reputation spoke volumes, unfortunately. So they had to invent things. They had to invent a narrative to discredit me somehow because one thing they knew, Haidada loved me. Not because of me, not because I'm better, simply because of a reputation that I've consistently managed over the years. When I started community work, listen, I did this from school. I never saw this as a project. I entered politics differently. But let me tell you, once I became part of the ANC, I could see what was the challenges of certain politicians is because certain politicians are famous with the ANC, but they have no relevance within their community. Other communities are relevant in their communities, but they don't have relevance politically. And I said to myself, no, but I can bring this together. And I can even bring preaching together with all three that I'm doing. Hence, always when I do the word of God in my church, I even bring in politics. Now, let me make an example. You get many pastors that get accolades for how good they preach the word of God and stuff, but they are not relevant in the community. They are good for the converted, but they're not good for the community, the broad community. So for me, I said to myself, no, you must bring in a balance to say, and I always also brought in my business knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, because you must see life from a business perspective. I cannot go into a councillor position from the narrative of a soup kitchen. There I would just feel sorry for everyone. Then I would just want to solve everyone's problems. And Mother Teresa. No, we want a Mother Teresa combined with a Joyce Myers, combined with a Nelson Mandela. That's what we want, because that's the balance that we need as politicians.
I must say your name is quite strong. After the negative brand that the ANC have given in Ward 16 and all over, and people I feel people believe more in you than in the ANC of your good work that you are doing. So, and I got a feeling also you are not really here for the money, like a lot of people get employed just for the money and tenders. You are at heart with the people.
No, most definitely. Look, I will be the president one day. I will still have a foundation. And if you ask me if I ever wanted to be a ward councillor, you see, politics is like church. There is no better job than another. it depends on how you see it. We see a pastor as the top person in a church, and we see an usher as, oh, shame, he can't preach, or he's just an usher. That's how we view it. But with God, we are all just sheep in his kingdom. The same with politics. But the only thing I say, it doesn't matter where the ANC deploys you. It doesn't matter where the church deploys you. Do it good, be excellent, upgrade yourself, develop yourself. Do I see myself as a ward councillor? Yes, definitely. Do I see myself as the end of contesting for a second term? No. There's provincial government. Why not be the premier? Why not be the president? So this is a stepping stone for my ambitions towards the future.
Yeah, great. I just want to show you a photo of the PA. That's a party that came up. It's existing now 9 years.
Yes.
And just look at the statistics, how good they were performing around South Africa, where they got their votes intact. Just hold it for the people for a while before I come back again. Right. What's worrying me, all right, we don't have your ward is more DA and ANC, so, and it became now a PA,
Yeah.
so we are not going to discuss all the other political parties. This party, I've foreseen big things for that party there in Hyderabad. What's worrying me is earlier on you make a statement that the PA's president, when they didn't vote for him, he said he's not going to worry about Hyderabad anymore. Did he really say that?
No, he did say that. It was even on Facebook. I think that was after the by-elections when John stepped down as the councillor for Ward 47. And then you remember when a ward councillor steps down, you don't just appoint a person. You must go for a by-election. And then when they went for the by-election, and I assume the president made a huge investment to take that ward from the DA, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Okay. I see there's a lot of questions that's coming in. We will concentrate on the questions a little bit later. But we just want to play a short video of Logan again.
Just in case I have to run, I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people.
There, Logan, you played such a beautiful song. I had to cut the song very short, but one lyric in the song is, I'll do what I can for the people.
Yes.
Are you really going to be there for the people?
I'm not going to be there for the people. I have been there for the people. The only difference now is I'm better resourced, better positioned. I have political respect. I have respect from my community, and my community endorsed me. Their vote is a simple endorsement that, Logan, we see what you do, we trust what you do, and we are giving you power to lead us as Ward 16.
Great. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to concentrate on discuss a little bit of the questions here, and then we will continue the way forward with Logan Creer. Okay, this is just a comment by an Olin Norkia. One thing you can't deny is a reputation. People feels you got a strong reputation. Do you want to comment on that one?
No, not really. I think she said it all.
Okay. And then Godfrey Motti, well done, Logan. To PA, don't give up. Tom Ati, enjoy the rest. And then Earl Meyer, he's asking, can community receive a brief 5-year ward plan in the future?
Yes, definitely. But I think it's a bit premature for me to speak on it now because I first also have to be officially endorsed. And remember, when we do a ward plan, remember, I don't stand as an independent. So it's not my ward plan per se, but I am the manager of that plan. So I do it in conjunction with the collective of the branch leadership of the ANC. So we collectively decide. Because remember, I'm not an independent candidate. I am a candidate part of the collective of the African National Congress.
So I hope that question is answering you there. You really always been there for the people, Logan Creer. It's just a comment. Any plans with the dilapidated buildings in Heidedal, as well as the POA to include the forgotten elderly in what we called an all-inclusive community? This is by Lucretia.
Mm-hmm. Look, if you talk about dilapidated buildings, there are things. Look, we are also, subjected to the availability of a budget. So as what 16, I must also come up with a capital project for the IDP that the municipality must fund or must provide a budget for. But what is interesting, Lucretia, is that what I want to do is I want to resuscitate different sectors in the community. You have the professional sector, you have your technocrats, you have your different people, the NGOs, the entrepreneurs, the sport fraternity. Now let me quickly answer that question. If something is dilapidated, we have one of two options. We can go to government, and government can tell us, yes, we have the money, or no, we don't. But I don't want to be that councillor. I want to be a councillor to say, Hededal, this is a building owned by so-and-so. Let's assist this person to refurbish this building. We have architects, we have people that can do the actual job. So I think my job as a ward councillor is to inspire people to come together and say, listen, but I can provide the paint. We don't have to wait for so-and-so or for municipality to approve the budget. If the stop sign is no longer there, I want to be that councillor to say, man, this is my salary, let's go buy a paint and let's do the road markings. There's certain things that we can deal with as a community, and there's other things where we have to get investment from government or from the private sector or a collaboration.
Okay, the way forward, Logan. In Heidedal, there's a big problem with the police station. Mm-hmm. What changes do you think you can make? Because we also had the police on VOICEIT, and I didn't want to mention it, but I went one day to the police station just as an ordinary person, and this policeman was so rude to me, and I was just testing him, and Colonel Pule was aware of how they treat people there, and I got first experience. I didn't want to expose this guy. I just told Mr. Pule, hey, there is a problem. I've experienced it myself. What will your way forward be with the police station to start?
Okay. Look, the police challenge is twofold. We have a language barrier. Now, a lot of times when people articulate on Facebook, they say, no, we want people from Ward 16 to work there, meaning we want colored people to work there because we speak Afrikaans and they can't speak Afrikaans. But like I said, we must never go on a racial narrative. I think what we must say is we must change that narrative and say, listen, we don't care who works at the police station. Just remember one thing. It doesn't mean because the police station is in Ward 16, it is only the police station for Ward 16. So let us be very clear. Let us not become tribal in our mindset. The same as with the stadium. When people complain to say, but we can't get access to the stadium. The stadium might be in Ward 16, but it is the facility of the municipality. So we must be clear on certain issues. Now, when we address the language barrier, I think we must ask, we want people that can speak Afrikaans, that are conversant in Afrikaans to work there. So it doesn't matter of the skin color, it doesn't matter where they emanate from, because the challenge is language, the challenge is not race. The second fault to the problem that you've alluded to was basic, what you call it, customer service. So you must understand, I can complain to the station commander, Pule, and if he listens to my problem. But when I see, you must remember, you complain, you must give people reasonable time to rectify the mistake. So you cannot just complain and leave. You complain, you monitor, you evaluate. If I feel that, but I don't see an intervention, and that is the beautiful part of being part of the African National Congress. We rule the municipality, we rule in the province, and we rule nationally. So I escalated immediately to the MEC of Police, Roads and Transport. So I would want to say, listen, I've given him ample time to rectify or to work on this challenge, because this is a barrier in the community where I serve. Now I would want the MEC to give an instruction or to do an independent investigation of what Logan has been complaining about. And that is why, as I'm saying, that is exactly why I love being part of the ANC, because we have room to escalate different things.
That sounds excellent. Logan, my second question, our sports fields. Let me tell you, there was twice 1 year that I had soccer tournaments on an Easter. That was quite successful. And then I went and discussed it with the police, because the police was also involved in the soccer tournament. And I asked him, how was the crime rate on that Easter tournaments? And he said it was very, very low. Since the Easter tournaments is not active anymore, the crime was just start escalating again on Easters. So it's very, very vitally important that we need to get the facilities in a way back by union again. Because in the past we used to run the soccer on our own. Heidedal is very big. It's just not Heidedal. All the other wards, of Grasland and Bloemside also fall under Heidedal. I would really suggest there's good guys that can manage the soccer league like Wewe and Barnes and them. We want that to be back, because I've been also involved. And you won't believe, my tournament started the Thursday, and this Mr. Tokyo canceled the fields the Tuesday. And I had to go to the mayor's office, and the mayor gave him a call in front of me that he had to keep quiet. So the thing is there, I don't know why don't they really want to see, because it's not working. Sports is dead. I mean, you were also with the sports with Aston Villa, and you and your sisters used to scream so loud, and you like it. If we can get sports back, we are automatically going to heal our community. What is your comment on that?
Yeah, you see, the challenge in Heidedal is we are fragmented. We are not synchronized. We want to work as individuals. And if you go to your so-called black communities, they always have a structure and an organization. They have a committee for this and a committee for that, and everyone subject themselves to that committee. So I think if you talk about sports and the facilities within Heidedal, firstly, me as the ward councillor, I am the person, when you apply for it, you take it to me. If I approve it, I take it to the mayor's office, because you must remember there's no free use of facilities. If there is free use, the mayor pays for that usage. So it sounds free to the community, but technically it gets funded from the mayor's office. So the reason why you were given the runaround is because you were not protected by your ward councillor. But also, I firmly believe that we must submit a yearly plan to Mangaung to say we want to use the facilities for the next 6 months. This is our dates. And then Mangaung must synchronize it. Like I said earlier on, many times it is not available because other people also want to use the sports fields. But the problem now is the ward councillor must have systems in place to ensure that, to say, listen, you're going to use it once a month or twice a month, but give me your dates well in advance. The challenge is people calling you now, they want to book the facility tomorrow. I'm not referring to your case. Your case is an exceptional case, and I'm so happy that you also said that the mayor intervened. You must also remember, even if the facility belongs to the municipality, which is an ANC-led government, we work with officials. You can't say everyone that works at Mangaung is an ANC member. People normally push that narrative. Guys, you can go and see Mangaung. There's a lot of predominant white people who still occupy positions. Remember, when we go into office, we don't change the whole staff complement of the municipality. People that has been employed by the municipality can't lose their job simply because there's a new mayor in town. There's only certain positions that is attached to a political office. What I'm trying to say is you can get the runaround from an official who's not doing their job, and then we simply just blame it on the ANC-led government to say it's the ANC per se, or it's simply because I'm colored. It has nothing to do. You can have corruption so that someone can tell the official, listen, if you give me that facility for that weekend, I can give you 5,000 under the table. I'm just making an example, but you would now conclude, no, it's because Schubert is a colored. That's why he said that, and he gave it to someone who is from black origin simply because he's black, and that is a oversimplistic assumption to make. I'm just saying there's more to the story that meets the eye, but what I can say is there is a new ward councillor.
That we're not going to leave there. Let me explain to you. The other day I was watching social media. They took photos of the tennis court, and it had been vandalized. But you mentioned something early, something interesting earlier. You said there must be a yearly plan ahead.
Yes.
Now, how could they fix this tennis court so well and didn't have a plan to let it be active? Obviously, if a place stands still, if I leave my car in Heidedal at the street for a weekend, I can guarantee you tomorrow or Monday my wheels is gone. It's tempting. So here, I'm not going to blame the people that vandalized it. I'm trying to say there was no plan in action when these courts were in such a good order. So here we need to get the people back like those years in the community that they can run these facilities.
No, I like what you say because you rectified your own statement. Firstly, you said the municipality must have a plan in place for the refurbished tennis courts. And then luckily you said at the end, the community. You must understand, a community, and you can't also say you don't blame people for vandalizing because it's tempting. It's almost like saying, I raped that lady because she was wearing a short skirt. We can't rectify the two because the two stands on opposite sides. But I understand, I know what you wanted to, I understand that one, but we had to rectify it for the sake of the viewers. Let me come back to the tennis courts. It doesn't matter which facility is being renovated. You see, the challenge in Heidedal is we lack ownership of facilities. You see, a municipality provides a conducive environment for us to do sports. It is us as the community to take ownership. It is us that must guard against our facilities. And you go to Rocklands, people will say, no, but you see, people dump Logan because the municipality didn't remove the garbage on time. You know, we always have excuses in Ward 16, but go to Rocklands, take a drive through Rocklands, which is a more impoverished community and better location than Ward 16, or let's say Heidedal, for instance. Why isn't there any dumping? Go and take a chance to dump in any street. Someone in that street is a street coordinator and you will be dealt with. And what I'm trying to say is that you can't wait for government of... Are you saying actually that government must now deploy the army to look at Heidedal, who's going to dump? So we must now take... So what is the role of the community then? So the challenge is, it's not the facility, it's the lack of ownership, the lack of love. We should not vandalize. That is the challenge. And the plan that I refer to is not the plan from the municipality. It's the plan from the structures in place. To say, you are the sport committee. What is your plan for your facilities? If there's tennis courts that is in good condition, then we must resuscitate tennis in the community. Who must do it? It can't be government. It's the community. Heidedal schools does not have sports again. No, I understand. At one stage, I'm mad with the principals at school, but I also understand the flip side to the coin. You see, people that has not been working in the community, they just give oversimplistic views. They have no idea the depth of the issue. A teacher is there working for 7 hours. Now they want to resuscitate hockey at school. That teacher must now stay behind again to play the hockey. That teacher must stay behind again because there's extra classes. So the teacher is overworked in itself. How do we resuscitate sport from the school? We must first resuscitate it at school level again. Then it will just be an overlap for the people that are done with school. What I'm trying to say is that, you see, the sporting facilities must go to the school and say, listen, we have a soccer club teacher. If you can give us the soccer boys from Heidedal School, we will come and we will do the training for them. So then you remove the burden from the poor teacher. And we as NGOs take ownership, or as a sport club, take ownership of the project to say, after school, we oversee the project. So what I'm trying to say is, Heidedal, my vision for Heidedal is we have to move back to a place where we come together and say, what can I do to relieve the stress of the pastor, to relieve the stress of the school, and walk away from the mentality, whom can we blame? rather say, what can I do? How can I improve Heidelberg with my money, with my skill, my talent? You sit with people with different talents and skills in Heidelberg, and they just do not volunteer that service for the betterment of the community. Why is it? Maybe it's because the shepherd, which is the ward councillor, didn't have a visionary plan. Hence I'm saying, if you ask me what is my plan for Heidelberg, leave my plans. Let's first resuscitate the different stakeholders which can do the job. Me as a ward councillor should not do those things. I must oversee it. Let me make a simple example. I can't deal with everyone's problems. It's impossible. And I do not want to do it because it's not smart. What I want to do is resuscitate the different NGOs. This one is a chess club. This one deals with rape victims. This one deals with women abuse. This one deals. So what I do is, and that's why my election campaign was with the NGOs to say, come, let me see, are you registered? Many times people just make statements, no, we don't get funding because we are colored. That is just the narrative. Only to find out, no, Uncle Stewart, your NGO is not registered. Or if it's registered, it's not registered with SARS. It's not registered with the different stakeholders within government to be compliant. So hence I'm trying to say is that I would first want to get NGOs in my 100-day plan as a ward councillor. Let me get the NGOs compliant. And once they compliant, now I teach them how to apply for funding. So when they get the funding for drug abuse, I remember Gregory Werner mentioned something big then. He said when they did a thorough research at Department of Social Development, they found out that with Department of Social Development, there was, and I speak under correction, plus minus 100 NGOs from Heidelberg, whom is funded by social development to deal with drug abuse. But by then, we've never heard of any NGO doing drug abuse except for HL Tech, where Gregory Werner was in charge, and with Charlotte Titus and other people. What I'm trying to say is, according to government, they have sourced money for 100 NGOs to assist with drug abuse, because government works through NGOs also in terms of social ills. So where is the corruption? Is it with government, or is it with the NGOs in Heidelberg who just registered and lied and said they are busy dealing with drug abuse, but they've pocketed the money?
Okay, I'll have to have a follow-up meeting first with you before we come with VOICEIT to see how we can cope with that one. My last question to you, Gregory Werner mentioned the quarry, and there's a case on, and people, I must be honest with you, whatever we talk on VOICEIT, there will always be a follow-up. I'm not talking and then forget about it. We need to raise our voice. That's why we say VOICEIT. Don't be scared. The quarry issue is a very sensitive issue. These cases I've been to IPIT already. Now I'm busy with the Hawks with this thing. It's a very sensitive and dangerous thing. I never thought it so much. I thought it was a light thing, and the people are keeping on dying there. Like for instance, Logan, we are after service delivery. I approached the Premier's office, the spokesperson, want details, and he said he'll send out a team. After that, he ignored me. I went to the Premier's PA to see the Premier, and she needs to get involved because this is a community thing. She just said she'll come back to me. I can show you the SMSs. Nothing is happening. And I'm telling you, until it's your child that's drowning there, maybe then you people are going to understand how dangerous that place is. Government was here. The spokesperson, Kwandile, was here. He promised he'll get back right. The chief whip was here. Unfortunately, he's been suspended. But people, that is a very, very sensitive thing. And I would like Logan to be involved. Does it also fall under your ward? Or?
Yes.
Oh, great, great. So I'm not one to discuss that again, but Logan, on this note, I really want to say congratulations. You are a tough woman. You have been on our show already. I told you there's a big vision for you, and what I like for you to be state president one day. You are just not a puppet yet. You are not going to sign like a lot of people are signing and they don't know what they are signing. So on this note, people, support Logan. For the other parties, never give up. Ati, never give up. You are 10 years in politics. There's always other ways. But for now, Ward 16, VOICEIT is behind you. Logan Creer, thank you for taking your time and come and share your views with our viewers. And have a blessed night till we meet again.
Can I say closing remarks?
Yeah.
Okay, in closing, let I just say for 1 minute, the only thing I want from Heidelberg is whatever ideas you have for our community, please share it with Logan. This is not mine, it's ours. I'm just leading the process. So please, it doesn't matter which project you have in mind, which ideas you have. I want it to be an inclusive. So when I do my projections or my planning for the ward, it should encompass the ideas of ordinary members from Ward 16. Together, we can build better communities together.
Thank you.